The alert hit while I was 30,000 FT in the air. Your daughter is gone. 8 years old with autism, poisoned by our landlord over noise complaints. He killed my girl and smirked at the hearing. I'm an Air Force pilot. I know 100 ways to seek revenge. Before watching the full story, comment below from where you're watching. Also like and subscribe for more stories. The alert came through while I was in the middle of a high-altitude training flight, 30,000 FT up in my fighter jet. Captain Riley, descend immediately. Family emergency. Those 2 words, family emergency, sent chills through my veins. I dove the plane faster than regs allowed, my thoughts spiraling through every worst-case scenario. But nothing could have prepared me for what I heard when I landed. Sir, there's been an incident at your apartment. Your daughter, the young officer's voice broke. Your daughter is dead, sir. I'm so sorry. My daughter, my 8-year-old Lila, dead. The world froze. The roar of jet engines, the shouts of ground crew, the hum of the tarmac, all gone. Just one word pounding in my head, dead. How? My voice sounded hollow, not mine. Poisoned, sir. Your landlord. The police are on scene now. I was in a transport vehicle within minutes, still in my flight suit, sweat dripping, my heart slamming against my ribs like it had burst. Lila, my bright, quirky girl who loved puzzles and humming her own little tunes, who saw the world differently because of her autism. Lila, who'd giggle at my bad impressions and hug me tight every morning. Someone had poisoned my daughter. The 30-minute drive to the apartment felt like an eternity. I sat rigid, my mind refusing to accept it. This had to be a mistake, a cruel error. Lila was supposed to be at home with her mom, safe, piecing together her puzzles, eating her favorite peanut butter crackers. She couldn't be dead. But when I pulled up and saw my wife Sarah sitting on the curb, her brother holding her as she sobbed, I knew it was real. Ethan, she choked out. I'm so sorry. Tell me what happened. My voice was cold, the one I used on missions when emotions could cost lives. Tell me everything. Lila had been in our apartment playing with her puzzle sets in the living room. She loved arranging them by color, creating patterns only she understood. Sarah was in the kitchen, checking on her every few minutes like always. Our landlord, Victor Grayson, had been a nightmare since we moved in 18 months ago. Constant complaints. Lila's humming was too loud. Her stimming noises disturbed other tenants. Our rent was late by a day once. We'd ignored him mostly. I was deployed or training half the year, and Sarah had enough on her plate raising Lila without battling a petty tyrant. That morning, Victor had come by, banging on the door, claiming Lila's humming was a lease violation. He'd been documenting noise disturbances for weeks, recording her through the walls with some cheap device. Where's your mother? He'd demanded when Lila opened the door a crack. Lila, who struggled with words under pressure, just pointed inside, her eyes wide. His autism makes her nonverbal sometimes, Sarah explained later. Most people were patient. Victor Grayson was not. I need to speak to your mother about these noises. It's unacceptable. Lila had nodded, focused on her puzzle pieces, trying to tune him out. Are you ignoring me? Victor's voice had gotten louder, sharp. I'm talking to you! Where's your mother? Neighbors heard the yelling and peeked out. They'd later tell police Victor seemed unhinged, angrier than a simple noise complaint warranted. Lila had tried to close the door, scared, wanting her mom. Victor pushed it open, stepping inside. You can't ignore me. This is my building. I make the rules here. Your family needs to respect that. Lila started crying, overwhelmed, her hands flapping as she tried to calm herself. Mama, she'd whispered, her voice small and shaky. Stop that noise, Victor snapped.
Stop it right now!
Sarah heard Lila's cries and ran to the living room. She found Victor looming over our daughter, who was curled up on the floor, sobbing. Get away from my daughter! Sarah shouted, rushing toward them. Your kids' noises are driving tenants away, Victor said. Like that justified everything. I'm issuing a lease violation. This is the 3rd one this month. I'm starting eviction proceedings. Eviction? Are you out of your mind? This is our home. Then control your kid and follow the rules. She's autistic, Sarah snapped. 2 years of his harassment. Letters, fines, threats about Lila's noises, her toys cluttering the hallway, our disruptive family, boiled over. My daughter is not a problem. She's a child playing in her own home. You don't yell at her. You don't come near her. Leave her alone! Don't tell me what to do, Victor shot back. This is my property. You people don't belong here. Coming into my building with your special needs kid, your excuses, Dragging down my reputation. Sarah shoved him hard, her hands shaking with rage. Victor stumbled back, his face twisting with fury. Then he reached into his coat and pulled out a vial. "You pushed me," he said, his voice eerily calm. "Everyone saw. You attacked me." Sarah froze, staring at the vial. "Victor, please, put that away. Please." Lila was sobbing, confused, calling out, "Mama!" "Scared." "I'm defending myself," Victor muttered, almost to himself. "She attacked me. I'm standing my ground." "I'm sorry," Sarah begged, tears falling. "I'm sorry I pushed you. Please, my daughter." "Your daughter's a nuisance," Victor said, turning toward Lila. Sarah screamed, lunging to shield her, but Victor was faster. He uncapped the vial and poured its contents into Lila's juice cup on the table, the one she'd been drinking from all morning. Sarah tackled him, knocking the vial away, but Lila, unaware, picked up her cup and took a sip. By the time Sarah realized what had happened, Lila was coughing, her eyes rolling back. Sarah screamed her name, shaking her, trying to make her spit it out. Neighbors called 911, but by the time paramedics arrived, Lila was gone. Poisoned in our own home over her humming. I stood in our apartment, staring at her puzzle pieces scattered on the floor. Red, blue, yellow, green, her favorite colors, waiting for her to finish her pattern. She wasn't coming back. My daughter was in the morgue. Sarah was in the hospital, sedated, her mind shattered. And Victor Grayson was in custody, probably already calling his lawyer, spinning his story. He killed my girl, my sweet, innocent Lila, who never hurt anyone. Something dark and heavy settled in my chest, the kind of focus I felt on missions when targets were clear, and hesitation wasn't an option. But this wasn't a mission. This was my daughter. And Victor Grayson would pay. The detective, a weary woman named Carter, found me standing in the apartment, staring at Lila's puzzles. "Captain Riley, I'm so sorry for your loss." I couldn't speak. If I did, I'd scream and never stop. "I need to ask you some questions. Preliminary stuff, if you're up for it." I nodded. "Did your family have ongoing issues with Mr. Grayson?" "Yes. Lease complaints, noise violations, harassment." "Did Lila ever interact with him before?" "No, we kept her away from him. He hated her stimming, said it was a disturbance." Carter's jaw clenched. "Witnesses confirm Grayson entered your apartment uninvited. Your wife pushed him, but only after he threatened Lila. The poisoning isn't defensible under any law. He'll face first-degree murder charges. Murder. Such a small word for obliterating my world." "He'll claim self-defense," I said. "He can try," Carter replied. "The evidence, witnesses, security footage, shows him pouring poison into a child's drink. No jury will buy his story." I wanted to believe her, but I'd seen the system fail before. Seen lawyers twist truth, seen connected landlords skate free. Victor owned half the buildings in the area. He probably knew the judges, the DA, the cops. "I want to see my wife," I said. An officer drove me to the hospital. Sarah was in a bed, eyes vacant, hands trembling. When she saw me, she broke down, gasping. "I couldn't stop him, Ethan. I tried, but he poisoned her. I couldn't save her." I held her as she shattered, my own grief clawing at me. But I couldn't break. Sarah needed me strong. "This isn't your fault," I said. "None of it. I pushed him," she sobbed. "If I hadn't..." "He came into our home with poison, Sarah. He was looking for a fight. If it wasn't the push, it'd have been something else. The doctor sedated her eventually." I sat by her bed, holding her hand, staring into nothing. My daughter was dead. My wife was broken. And Victor Grayson was probably already plotting his defense. The funeral was 4 days later. Lila's casket was small, white, covered in puzzle piece stickers, her favorite thing. Sarah sat beside me in a wheelchair, her body and mind too fragile to stand. My squadron showed up in dress uniforms, forming an honor guard. Lila used to call me her sky hero, bragging to her friends about her dad who flew jets. Some hero, I couldn't save her. The service was a blur. Just Sarah's sobs, my wingman's hands on my shoulders, the sight of that tiny casket lowering into the ground. Lila loved puzzles because they made sense, because she could solve them. But there was no solving this, just a dead girl and broken parents and a system that might let her killer walk. Victor Grayson's lawyer held a press conference 3 days after the funeral. "My client is a respected property owner who was assaulted in his own building. He acted in self-defense against an aggressive tenant. This is a tragedy, but Mr. Grayson is the victim here. I watched it on the hospital TV, Sarah sedated beside me. The lawyer was slick, painting Victor as a hard-working landlord. Sarah as unhinged, barely mentioning Lila except as a sad accident. My phone rang, my commanding officer. "Ethan, I saw the news. What do you need?" "I need justice, sir. I need him locked up for life." A pause, and if the system fails. I didn't answer. Couldn't. Because I knew what I'd do if Victor walked, and it wouldn't be legal. "Ethan, you can't take this into your own hands. Sarah needs you. Your unborn child needs you." Sarah was pregnant, 3 months along when Lila died. We'd planned to tell Lila she'd be a big sister. Now she never would. The preliminary hearing was set for a month later. Sarah was on crutches, her spirit fading. She'd stopped talking much, just stared at Lila's puzzle table, her toys, her empty room. The prosecutor, a sharp woman named Patel, said the case was airtight. Security footage, witnesses, toxicology reports showing industrial poison in Lila's system. But Victor's lawyer was a big name, known for winning impossible cases. In court, he painted Victor as a scared landlord, harassed by unstable tenants. He claimed Sarah's push was part of a pattern of aggression that Victor feared for his life. Lies, but they sowed doubt. The security footage was brutal. Victor pouring the poison, Lila drinking, Sarah screaming. I couldn't watch, but I heard the courtroom gasp. The judge shut down the defense's self-defense claim, ruling for a trial on first-degree murder. As Victor was let out, he glanced at me, smirking. No remorse. I lunged, my wingman grabbing me before I could reach him. I screamed I'd kill him for Lila. His lawyer got what he wanted, proof we were violent. The trial was 3 months later. Sarah was 6 months pregnant, barely holding on. The courtroom was packed. Media, locals, gawkers drawn to the story of a landlord poisoning an autistic child. Victor sat there looking like a kindly old man, not a monster. The prosecution showed the footage, witness statements, the poison's chemical breakdown. The defense countered with character witnesses, tenants, business partners, calling Victor a saint. They dug up Sarah's therapy records, twisting her grief into instability. They said Lila's autism caused family chaos. I watched the jury, some nodding, others unsure. Victor's lawyer was good, planting just enough doubt. When Sarah testified, her voice shook. Lila was playing with her puzzles. She loved them, made patterns. Victor came in, yelling about her humming. She got scared, started crying. I told him to leave her alone. He said she didn't belong here, said we were ruining his building. I pushed him. Then he poured something into her juice. I tried to stop him, but she drank it. She collapsed in my arms. She broke down, unable to go on. The defense tore into her. "Mrs. Riley, you've been in therapy for anxiety, correct?" "Yes, on medication." "Yes. Were you medicated that day?" "I don't know." "So you weren't thinking clearly?" I was clear. "He was threatening my daughter." "But you attacked him, didn't you?" The prosecutor objected, but the damage was done. Sarah looked broken, unreliable. Victor took the stand, playing the victim. I was just enforcing lease rules. The girl's noises were constant complaints. "Her mother attacked me." I was scared. I didn't mean to hurt the child, just to calm things down. Lies, but he sold it, tears and all. The jury bought it. After 2 weeks, they deliberated for 4 days. Sarah stopped eating, barely slept. My wingman stayed close, worried I'd snap. The verdict came on a Friday. Not guilty on first-degree murder. Not guilty on second degree. Guilty on voluntary manslaughter. Manslaughter, like Lila's death was a mistake. Victor cried, relieved. His lawyer smiled. Sentencing was later, but manslaughter meant 7-15 years, out in as little as 5 with good behavior. 5 years for my daughter's life. I walked out, drove to Lila's grave and sat there, staring at her headstone covered in puzzle piece stickers. "I'm sorry, Lila, I failed you. I couldn't get you justice." My phone rang. Sarah, my CO, my lawyer. I ignored it, let the battery die. I sat in the dark, thinking of how I could make Victor pay. Untraceable, silent, like I'd been trained. But Sarah's pregnancy, our unborn child, stopped me. Lila wouldn't want me in prison. Sarah needed me. Our baby needed me. Victor wouldn't destroy what was left of us. Over the next year, I channeled my rage into purpose. I started a foundation in Lila's name, pushing for tenant rights and protections for families with disabled kids. I worked with lawmakers to regulate landlords, mandate oversight, ban discriminatory evictions. 4 states passed Lila's Law, limiting landlord authority and requiring harassment reporting. It wasn't enough, but it was something. Sarah gave birth to our son, named Liam, with Lila's bright eyes. Victor died in prison 2 years later, a stroke. I didn't care. He'd taken enough. Liam is 5 now, knows about his sister who loved puzzles and humming. Sarah still cries, staring at Lila's room. The grief stays, but we carry it. We built something from our loss. And I hope Lila knows her dad never stopped fighting for her. Justice failed, but love didn't.